Before we get started, I wanted to give another shout out to Lily Newhouse. She won her second circuit ring last week on the exact same day she won her first last year. If she keeps winning rings, there won't be any fingers left for me to put a ring on one. December 27th. It's 2 days after Christmas. We're headed to the Bellagio. We're vlogging today. And really the only difference between today and other days is I'm wearing sunglasses. That's really about it. Happy New Year. As the year was coming to a close, I decided to head down to the Strip again and get a session in and try to salvage my December. December was a down month. Nothing huge, but still I wanted to put a dent in that. So I play. I happened to walk in right as they are starting a new game. Perfect. Let's go. The first half hour or so of this game is wild. Chips are flying back and forth, mostly initiated by the 8 seat. I'm seeing it flop here or there, but nothing really materializes, so my hands mostly end in flop or turn folds. In this first hand worth talking about, I didn't capture the very beginning because text messages, so when we join the action, an early position player has limped, and the quote-unquote action on the button has raised to $40. With my hand, which you haven't seen, but maybe you can guess, I raised to $150 from the small blind. The limper folds and the button calls. 9-6-3 rainbow. I'm normally continuing here, but I really wanted this guy to kind of pop off a bit, so I check. He disappoints. He checks. 5 of spades turn. I check again and double disappointment. He does too. Believe it or not, I'm pretty confident that he doesn't have a pair yet. I've seen what he does with a pair, any pair, and it's not checking. The river 4 of spades completes a backdoor flush draw and puts a one-liner on the board, and I check again, and again he checks. I win this one with ace high, and I didn't know this at the time, but the wild action I saw over the first 30 minutes was not a sign of things to come. Limp, 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 and we look down at 7 deuce offsuit in the big blind, so I guess we're seeing a flop. Queen, jack, deuce. Oh look, I flopped a pair. Whatever, check. And it checks around. Deuce of diamonds on the turn. Well, that's interesting. The small blind checks and I just toss out $10 figuring this will end the hand. Next act folds and the hijack calls. What? Really? The small blind folds. River. Deuce of clubs. What in the hell? Well, let's get greedy. $90. He flashes a jack and folds, so I guess I got a bit too greedy. Luckily for me, this was a must-move game, and I was soon ushered to a new table. This table looks pretty decent. Action will definitely be better here, but before I can sit down, I'm told that another player has put in a request for this table. So I moved again. The next new table doesn't look as good as the last, but much better than the first. I'll make do. The first hand I see, 3-5. Not suited. Bye. For the next 3 orbits, I had 2 playable hands, and both happened to be on the button. So I opened, and both times the blinds folded. So when the button comes around during my 4th orbit at this table, and I look down at aces, I just know I'm going to get some action. I opened to $30, and at least this time the big blind calls. King, jack, 7. He checks, and we check it back, feigning weakness, hoping he will stab the turn. The turn? 9 of clubs. Not only does he not stab, he snap folds when we bet $40. Bah. Once again, not suited. Bye. A bit more time passes, and looking down at kings, I open a $25 from the low jack. 2 callers, both blinds. 9-8-4 with 2 hearts. The small blind checks and the big blind breaks protocol and donks for $30. I'm really not too worried about this bet, and factoring in the overall passive nature of the table, it will be pretty easy to spot when I'm behind in this hand. And plus, I don't want to lose the small blind, so I just call. The small blind does as well. The 3 of clubs hits the turn and both check. Just calling the flop was risky. Not betting the turn would be just dumb. I bet $120 and both find folds. Ugh. Here, the straddle has been put on, so we're playing 5, 10, 20. I open a $60 from the button and only the big blind comes along. 4, ace, 4, rainbow. The big blind checks and I c-bet for $40 in an attempt to just take the pot down right here. It doesn't work. The turn king puts 2 diamonds on the board, but more importantly, I have showdown value now. If he has an ace or 4, I lose obviously, but now I can beat all his pocket pairs. He checks, I do the same. He checks again on the river when the 5 of hearts appears. With showdown value and little chance that even a weak ace or better king would fold, turning my hand into a bluff becomes unnecessary. I check behind, and his pocket 6s hit the muck. Old Jaman would have called here, ignoring the gigantic 4.4x raise size with delusions of grandeur about flopping a flush. In reality, he would have flopped an ace and lost a big pot, or missed completely and ended up playing a guessing game out of position. Easy fold here in the vast majority of situations. Very, very easy against this size. There was a bunch of nothing for the next hour, and not just nothing for me. I mean nothing at all going on this table. No action whatsoever. But I soldier on. In this next hand, you'll find me opening Queen 9 of hearts to $30 from the low jack. The button calls. 10 of hearts, 8 of hearts, 5 of diamonds. A damn good flop for me. An overcard and a gut shot straight flush draw. I check. Our villain here takes a stab at this one for $40. Of all the villains at the table, he's probably the stickiest. I could easily check raise here and be willing to flip for it all, but I decide to take the more conservative approach. I call. The turn pairs the 5, and we both check this street. So it doesn't look like playing for it all is going to materialize. What does materialize, however, is my gut shot. The jack of diamonds slides in on the river. I lead for $80, which in hindsight I'm sort of meh about. Seeing as I'm not too worried about him having a full house and the front door hearts missing, I could have found a bigger size. He tanks over my lead for a while, but eventually tosses 8 $10 chips into the middle and sees the bad news. There was a player in the 1 seat that was just, what's the word? Wild. He really only had 2 moves. Raise big or raise bigger. That was his entire game. He didn't play every hand, but when he didn't want to play small pots. In this one, he open limps. The button limps, the small blind limps, and I make a reasonable raise from the big blind with ace-queen offsuit. He then limp re-raises to $310 off his estimated $750 stack. What the hell? Everyone folds. In the very next hand, he limps again. The button raises to $60. I fold 10-6 offsuit from the small blind, and when action returns to the one seat, he moves all in, and the button finds a fold. Someone at some point will pick up a hand and end this man. I'm kind of regretting folding my ace-queen offsuit now. On the very next hand, I'm the button and he's the big blind. And I look down at... Remember that someone at some point thing? Well, that might be me. The cutoff opens to $40 and I raise to $120. The small blind folds and our action player 4-bets to $720, leaving himself about $60 behind.
$720.
When the cutoff folds, I obviously just move all in and he calls the additional $60.
I'm all in.
$720.
I'm all in.
All in?
How many times?
He asks, how many times? And I hold up one finger. He doesn't rebuy.
I think that was the first time somebody asked me how many times I wanted to run it, and I said once in like 10 years.
I always run it.
Yeah, I normally do too. I did that for our honor. The limp shoves were not appreciated.
Ever since I moved out of the city, I'm so bored, out of my mind.
Okay. We are experiencing maximum frustration right now. Maximum. I'm card dead. I'm the card deadiest version of card dead that I could possibly be. It doesn't help that my game isn't good. It's super nitty. WPT is gone. So a lot of the players that bled over from the Encore are gone. And it's not even a bunch of regs at my table. It's just a bunch of nitty folks. Just regular folks that just came out to the Bellagio to be nitty. And yeah, that is the mid-session update. We're going to go back in there. We're going to try to make something happen, but I don't know. Wish me luck. And I know what you're going to say. Jamin, you should just get a table change. I should just get a game change. I'm this close to just jumping into like 20-40 limit or something. I can play limit. Don't think I can't. Oh, all right. I need to calm down. We're just going to calm down. We're going to go in here. We're just going to play well. We're not going to try to push it. I bet you I'm going to try to push it.
Any tens?
Pimp juice.
If I'm here, you already know what time it is. They got us in the hot seat, looking down at those folks, 3-5 suited, you dig? Throw in 20. The low jack and the blinds. All the squares chip in. They out of pocket. I ain't sweating them chumps at all. Queen of clubs, 3 of spades, 4 of clubs. Bingo. Told you. Like I said, nobody making a move. Turn for spades. Nobody's blinking, 'cause I'm weaving a slick trap. Straight finessing these fools, you dig? River, ace of hearts. This card's testing my faith, but you know a pimp stay a pimp. Both blinds lay low. I lay low. And if the low jack throws in chips, he finna catch a case. He don't. He checks. Just like I knew from the get-go. 3-5 suited all day, baby.
No way.
I miss when poker was exciting like that. I so missed when it was like so exciting like that. Like, oh!
Well, that's the only thing I was thinking. I was like, I'm jealous of those guys right there.
It used to be so fun.
I know because this vlog is edited that it might seem like the session wasn't boring. I assure you, it was. But if there was any hand that stood out from the session, it was the next one. Yeah, it's another hand with pocket kings, so, well, you know. In yonder poker realm, a game unfolds where early in position, a player bold bets 30 coins, another calls his bid. From hijack, I raise, 2 kings amid. Red and black, regal in their gaze, a royal wager, 140s blaze. The first better folds, a timid retreat, yet the low jack caller still in his seat. With newfound vigor, raises high, 600 coins, a perplexing cry. A puzzle unfolds, a gambler's intrigue. To raise again seems out of league. I opt to call, the cards to unveil. 3 on the board, a jack 7-4 trail. 2 spades amidst a color array. The tale unfolds in a dramatic display. Swiftly he shoves, a daring move, covering me with a gambling groove. A query arises, a pondering thought. Could it be aces that he brought? Nay, not the spades, nor jacks behind. Queens, my conjecture, in my mind. I call his bet. The cards reveal 2 kings together? A royal seal. The 9 and 7 descend with grace. A chopped pot, an unexpected embrace. Not the ending foreseen, yet fair and square. In this poker tale, we both had our share.
We were both thinking the same thing. Does this sneaky bastard have aces?
4 bet in Bellagio is always kings plus. Ace, king.
Mostly, yeah.
But
Mostly, yeah.
So
Yeah.
you had kings. When you like snap call this.
I mean, it didn't feel good. Did I look happy? That wasn't a fist pump snap call.
Just grabbing
Yeah.
the black stag.
Yeah. Call. That's why I have a 401k.
In one of the final hands of the night, I open under the gun to $20 with pocket 7s and get a call from the button. Action now on the small blind, and he puts in a 3-bet to $100. I'm often folding 7s in this configuration, but here I find the call and the button gets in there as well. King 7-5 with 2 diamonds.
I love it when a plan comes together.
The small blind continues for $110, and I call hoping the button comes along. He doesn't. The turn 10 of clubs sees the small blind continuing with the betting lead for $360. I should be raising flop or raising turn or raising at some point, and if I'm being honest, I really don't know why I didn't. Mistake on my part. I just call. The river 3 of diamonds could be a problem. The small blind continues for $500, and I call again. In hindsight, I'm pretty happy that I didn't raise this card because although I do win this hand, he shows ace-king with the ace of diamonds, so a river raise by me might have seen me get shoved on. I definitely left some money unacquired in this hand.
Press hard and we get through the fire. Got the edge and we're taking it higher. Fuck time now, this is our hour. We got the power.
This session is over. The nittiest session I've ever played. I left up. I'll leave the amount I was up right there. So, I can't really complain about that. I mean, after the mid-session update, I chopped the pot with pocket kings. I remember flopping a set with pocket sevens, and I remember folding a hell of a lot of hands. So, I don't know how I'm going to turn this into something even semi-interesting, but I will give it a shot. But you know, like always, if you like the vlogs, like the vlogs. Subscribe, leave me a comment. And I might respond. Maybe. Probably. Bye.
Watch me move, can't nobody do it how I do. Stay tuned, just watch. It's a vibe, it's a mood. Pick it up, get up in the groove. Stay tuned, just watch. Watch me move. Watch me move, watch. It's a vibe, it's a mood. Can't nobody do it how I do. Stay tuned, just watch.
How old am I? 51. I started at 37.
How was your daughter?
14. It's hard math to do. You gotta carry the one. Like it's hard. Okay.
And lost the sizable one to quad aces. So, one take, let's go. We're back in the bag.
I be doing things that you never thought of. Mention my name, you know that it's great as being front of. You should pay attention, listen, let me get you caught up. My whole team here, you gon' have to go through all us. I should write a how-to called being lit for dummies. I ain't stepping out the house unless it's making me some money. You should check it out.
11, 12-hour session today. Sorry to disappoint you, but I didn't mess up that many times this time. Not that many. Near perfect. 1,626. 1,626. That is what I was up. And this, the tightest and nittiest game I played in all year. That's what we ended up. And this, the nittiest of nitty games. I have another little trip coming up tomorrow, not poker related, and
Oh, I guess I didn't. Yeah,
twice?
I'm all in.
All in and
Yeah,
twice.
all in twice.
How many twice? Once or twice?
Twice.